What's up, fam? Welcome back to Rise and Grind. Happy Monday, aka Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I genuinely forgot, though. I do have to be honest.
I gotta tell you one thing. I can't forget because I live for my corned beef and cabbage.
Is this the one time of year that you have it?
It is the one time I overindulge.
So you have it throughout the year, but today you go all in.
If I'm at my goodness, Dublin House, I'll slap a little what the hell's it called? That one melt that has corned beef on it.
Oh, I don't know, but I haven't been there in a long time.
It happens at least once a year,
Yeah.
so I probably say twice a year I have corned beef. But this is the time. You know what I mean? This is the time where us Irish people. Most people don't know this, but I am Irish. Okay, I'm an Irish Portuguese guy. Okay, so literally this time of year I get amped up. Now again, when you have children and you're not out there in Seaside or Asbury or Belmar partying, you're just taking pictures of your kids while they're crying and having corned beef. It is the new way of life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm stoked about it. I'm stoked about it. Plus, I'm going to the Knicks game tonight with my friend Brian.
That's going to be so fun.
And then after I booked the tickets, which I did last minute, which everybody knows that's no surprise. We found out that today is St. Patrick's Day in the city.
This is John's excuse, actually. He bought tickets to a game.
That it was St. Patty's Day in the city. So anyway, happy St. Patty's Day, everybody.
It's funny.
We got a lot going on, obviously, as we always do. So I'll let you kick us off.
Did you hear about X's massive cyber attack last week? They had a pretty big one, which these things happen in tech, right? We see that platforms go down from time to time. And last week, X was out for 30 minutes or so, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't seem like a long time. But when it keeps happening and they don't know where the root cause is coming from, then people start to get a little bit nervous. So they're saying that this was a DDoS attack, which essentially floods a website with malicious traffic to make it unavailable. So it overwhelms servers and then the website goes down and then you can't access it. Now, they're saying that this happens daily at X, but the reason why it went down is because there were so many resources behind this one attack. And Elon had shared with Fox Business later in the day that he doesn't know what happened, but when they looked at where the IP addresses originated from, it was from the Ukraine area. So obviously, there's different ways to mask your IP address, right? So it's possible that that's not actually true, and it could have happened right here in the United States, but it happened.
But I feel like, but this is the thing, I feel like being Elon Musk, like if you're hiding a VPN through whatever, I feel like you find that.
Right. That's what I would think too.
I would trust his accuracy of where it's coming from based on the smart people that work there. But I guess we'll see what transpires there.
It's interesting because originally people were saying that this is because he laid off a bunch of employees and replaced with AI. But again, AI is able to detect these things probably faster than a human can if your website is under attack.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. And we're going to see more of that. Obviously, right now, he's getting a lot of kickback because of what he's doing with Doge and all that other stuff. So right now, it's a tough time to be Elon Musk, obviously. But, again, we'll see what happens. A lot of people are. So I saw this sticker on one of these cars that said, "I bought the Tesla before Elon went crazy." It was on their Tesla. And I was like, this is great.
That's actually funny.
But, it's definitely such an interesting time to be alive right now. There's just so much happening in the world. There's so much happening with AI advancements. There's so much happening in, just every aspect of what's going on with that, that is so different from what it was before. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a crazy time to be alive.
And it's happening so rapidly. That's the part that gets me a little bit nervous because we're living in such a crazy time with AI and it's only advancing faster and faster and faster. And AI is learning faster than we even can.
Right.
So,
and that's the thing too, when you think about it, like right now, Sam Altman is not loving Elon because the whole thing about Elon saying that this is a nonprofit that is like an open source, tech, that now they're trying to make closed source and they're trying to essentially make it a for-profit company,
right?
Sam Altman. And so in a nutshell, obviously, like when these things are happening, behind the scenes is Sam Altman like saying, hey, ChatGPT, like the one that's probably like that nobody has access to. go take Twitter down or go take X down, right? Like, who knows, right? Like, that's the thing about this AI, future advancement that is scary, because it's like we don't know what it's doing when nobody's watching, or if one crazy person's like, well, go take X down, or go do this, or go find the nuclear codes, or whatever.
Yeah. And then they have a mind of its own. You had showed me a video last week of the two AI models speaking to each other.
Yes. That was my trend. Way to steal.
So, well, then you explain it more, because that was mind blowing, honestly. That was crazy.
No, it was nuts. In a nutshell, so there is language that is now essentially even running, and it can run between multiple different AIs. So ChatGPT was having a conversation with Gemini, because this one person was like, put their two phones together and was like, hey, pretend you're a hotel, front desk person, and the other person may pretend you're booking a reservation. And then once it realized that they both were AI, they started talking in a completely different language. Do you remember what it was called? It was like yeah,
look it up.
It was called something interesting. It was like AI language. But nonetheless, while she's looking that up, essentially it was talking to each other in these like tones, and it sounded like dial tones. And the part that, again, I don't like about that, and most people are not going to like about that, is that it's like when you're in a room with people who don't speak English or speak multiple languages, and they don't want you to hear something, right? So if you're having a conversation and you don't know what the other person or this AI is saying, then you're out of the conversation. What is it called?
Gibberlink?
Gibberlink, yeah. So look that up. It's called Gibberlink. But so essentially what it did was it said, oh, hey, now that I know you're an AI too, do you want to, for faster communication, do you want to, you talk in Gibberlink? And the next thing you know, it's having these dial tones. It was just absolutely insane.
And it didn't take long for them to figure out either.
No, right away.
They were AI models, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, this is the thing, I'm pretty sure in the video it said it, because it said, hi, I'm like, ChatGPT and AI agent. I'm pretty sure they both said that. And that's when it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But that's the next one that's going to be interesting, is if they could pick up on it without that. Yeah. But either way, that's the point. It's like, that's what's scary about this, is the fact that we just don't know if you can communicate without humans understand. We don't know what the fuck Gibberlink is.
No, nobody can.
Maybe Megan
That's
does.
the thing. It's like, it's different from someone speaking another language that you can translate. Yeah. Who's translating Gibberlink, right? Mm-hmm. And it feels a little uneasy to have two robots communicating about something that you don't know what they're communicating about.
Word on the street is that Rob actually invented Gibberlink.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
After he identified the world was flat. This is right before it, actually.
Groundbreaking.
But so anyway, with that said, obviously there's a lot going on in that world. And one of the things that, like, for anybody who's watching this, I say it's pretty often, but again, like, creating content weekly where you're live is so important. And again, for a business or a brand, or if you're just trying to build your career, it's one thing to, post regular content, but my recommendation is to always be putting out good content that you have the ability to showcase what you're about, who you're, what you want to showcase to potential clients. So again, going live is something I'm going to keep bringing up every Rise and Grind as much as I can, because again, so many people feel scared to do it because like, oh, I don't want to, what if I screw up, or what if I do something wrong? But it's like, nobody's expecting you to be a freaking Hollywood actor or actress when you're doing this stuff, right? So just get out there, get uncomfortable, because the one thing, again, growth and comfort do not coexist. If you're trying to grow and you want to build your business or your brand, you have to do stuff like this. And this is the only way, going live like this right here is the only way to notify all your followers that you are live. If you're watching this on whatever channel, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, or Meta, something on Meta, you most likely got notified that Adapting Social is live or John is live. So that said, again, if you're trying to push a message, push a brand, push whatever, this is the most effective way to do it. Stop being scared, go live.
That's the best tip.
Yeah.
Another tip is for search engine optimization. We work with a lot of local businesses who are trying to figure out, how can I become more visible on maps? And especially if someone is searching for example, for us, we're Adapting Social on Google Maps, right? But if someone's searching for social media agency, and we just have marketing agency, how are they supposed to find us?
Right.
So what you can do is really build out your service catalog. You can add your services or products to Google Business Profile now. And you can add a description That's SEO friendly. So then if someone is searching for a social media agency or a web design agency, you're actually going to start to populate in those searches now. So it's a little hack so that you can get more visibility on maps.
Yeah, I said this last time. Outside of that, by the way, Google has some debauchery happening as well. And with Google as an example, like right now, second gen Chromecasts right now are currently not working.
Oh, really?
And I found that out because in my office, I always have a TV going with like Squawk Box or some sort of Bloomberg channel going. And for the past like 2 weeks, it's just not working. And like I've been like racking my brain. And then finally, I get an email after 2 weeks of doing it. And I actually switched out the Chromecast I had back here. And I'm like, okay, this one works perfect. And then I got an email from Google saying, hey, if you have Chromecast, it's second generation, we're trying to fix it right now. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me. I was literally about to throw my TV against the wall and do all this crazy crap.
Oh my gosh.
So just Google. But with that said, though, the one thing I just want to share, guys, is this happens too many times. So right now we're working with a current client, but we have so many clients over the years that have some sort of issue with Google Business Profile. Whether it is their Google Business Profile goes down, they are having issues with reviews or a negative review or whatever the case. And at the end of the day, it's really important that you're constantly checking your Google Business Profile, that you're constantly updating that password, that you're looking into the things to make sure you're not doing anything incorrectly. One thing that people do too often is they try to make a home address or some sort of address that doesn't exist a thing because they don't want to use their home address. They don't have a physical office. And then Google finds out. And then guess what? You are suspended, right? Like you played hooky.
And they make it really, really difficult to get that account active again.
That's the point. So like right now we're dealing with a client who has been in business for over 30 years. And right now it's having some major, major issues. And now it's becoming a financial issue because a lot of their business came from Google. And their profile is, their Google Business Profile is down because they did that. They tried to put a different address because they didn't want to put their home address. And once Google figured it out, now they're suspended. And it's like, it's such a long, drawn out process. Google is not fast. They're not like, okay, you know, you want to use this address? No problem. It's like, no, you screwed up. No. Now you got to wait in line almost, right?
They're not very forgiving.
No, you're just waiting, right? So it's a pain. But anyway, to avoid that, just make sure that, again, your address is correct and it's proper. It's a real address. Again, if you don't want to use your home address, then you're kind of SOL if you don't have a business, right? Or if you don't, unless you have a mailing address or some sort of remote space or satellite office in one of these places, like a WeWork or something. But other than that, that will screw you over and it takes forever to get your profile back up. So again, just be mindful of that because we keep facing this issue and it's really challenging. But secondly, again, Google really validates credibility when you have great reviews. So one of the things that, again, you should focus on is your family, your friends, your customers. Make sure you're doing everything you can to build your reviews. People really look at that stuff. I mean, if you look at an easy measure of it is like, if you've never been to a restaurant before, if you've never used a service before, most people, the first thing they do is they go to the reviews, look at the most recent and say, what are people saying? Like, what are customers saying? Are they happy? They're not happy. And I do that. Like in the past, I speak, oh, screw that. Like, I'm not about that. Like, 5, 6, 7 years ago, like I'll give any business a chance. But you know what, though, now in the world we live in, I'm like, you know what? The reviews, don't get me wrong. You got some Nanny McPhees out there that are just complainers. They hate XYZ. They're going to complain about their steak at dinner. But at the end of the day, it's like, it comes down to one thing. It comes down to the fact that, like, I want to know the range of reviews. If there's a ton of negative, then I'm like, all right, like, I'm not going to probably be happy yet. Versus like, if I see some good positives, some Karens, whatever, it's like, all right, like I'll give it a shot. So nonetheless, make sure you're building your reviews. If you're building your reviews and people see what you're doing and they see that you're doing great, the biggest thing with small businesses, guys, and if you're watching this, I'm going to highly encourage you, go support your small business and the local people that your friends, whether they're a real estate agent, a baker, a pizzeria, a restaurant owner, whatever the heck, go support them by actually giving them a positive review. So many people are talking about stupid shit that doesn't matter, like Kendall Jenner's new lipstick or Kim Kardashian's naked on Times Square in her Skims outfit or whatever. It's like, nobody cares about that shit, really, right? It's just a cool, trendy thing. But the thing that is cool is supporting your friends or supporting the people even if you went to high school with somebody and you know them from afar, but you see they're trying to better their life or something. Like, go support that person by give them a shout out on social, by writing a review, or one of those things are going to help those people, because people are actually looking at that stuff. They're looking at the reviews, they're looking at the social media posts. And so when you are supporting that person, you're helping them. And the thing is with these business owners, but again, nobody knows behind the scenes, is you don't know what they're doing, what they're going through, obviously. So, business is not easy. It's tough. It's a tough racket, right?
Yeah,
so
it definitely
at the end
is.
of the day, go support, your local business or your friend or whoever owns some sort of business or brand by writing a review, by going to buy something from them, by shouting them out on social media, because it helps so much. And we're too focused on these stupid influencers and trendy BS. It doesn't matter, versus actually people who are in your community that are trying to better their lives. Like when you buy something from some influencer, you're not actually seeing the impact. Like every time somebody buys something from Kim Kardashian or one of those people, like, are you seeing their life get measurably better? No, you're not, obviously.
No.
But when you see somebody that's a real estate agent close another deal or get a new listing because you introduce them to somebody, like that's measurably helping them. Like you can see that's helping them, right? So like that's the cool stuff. That's the stuff that we should be focused on, is helping each other out, not just focus on these influencers. And don't get me wrong, every influencer at one point was a small, person trying, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta look out for the people in your community who are fighting like hell to keep going, right? Because like the best quote I've ever heard, that I love, every year in my email signature I have a quote of the year, and this one was my favorite by far, which was a Margaret Mead quote, which is like, never doubt that a group of committed citizens can change the world, because in fact it's the only thing that ever has. And it's like, when you really digest that for a second, right? Like the only reason why humanity has always moved forward is because we help each other, we move forward, we advance together. And I say that again, all to say is go freaking support your local small businesses and friends. And even if it's not a small business, even if it's a friend that owns a business that was small, it's bigger now, go show them some love, guys.
I feel like we have to end there because that was so powerful.
Before your motivational quote?
What do you mean? That was so motivational. What you just said was so motivational.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, that was really good. More people should support small businesses.
That was from the heart.
The thing is, I will end on this. I was in Target yesterday, which I know a lot of people are hating on Target right now. But
why are they hating on Target?
There's a long story behind it. But
is it DEI stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That plus people are looking to shop small too. There was that whole economic blackout day a few Fridays ago. Anyway, I'm in Target. And actually really appreciated this, but I overheard someone talking to their husband, and she said, oh, can you ask so-and-so if they have this in their store? If so, I'd rather get it from them. And that's a great example of, you're in Target, awesome. You're looking to, and it was probably cheaper in Target, but she ended up, I guess, getting it from her friend. So check in on your friends that have businesses and see how you can support them.
Totally. And one thing I'll say though, I can't even sleep on Target. Like every time Jacqueline sends me for some diapers, when I go diaper shopping there, I got to tell you, like they got some pretty like interesting, like nice clothes for dudes.
I like their clothes too.
I normally I'm not like a big shopper outside of the suits and stuff. But like when I go there and I look at like some casual stuff, like I'll be getting the diapers and the wipies.
Yeah.
And
a t-shirt too.
And I walk past, I'm like, that's a pretty cool shirt.
Wow.
Like whatever. But anyway, so not sleeping on them. I have a question. Does every Target have Starbucks in it, or is it some? Because I feel like
I don't know. I feel like that's part of the experience, though. So
yeah, because I don't drink it, but I always get brownie points and I go get Jack from the Starbucks while I'm getting the diapers and the wipies.
Oh, that's a good way to get some brownie points. Yeah.
You get brownies, you get diapers, wipies, and Starbies.
Wow.
How Gen Z did I just sound in that sentence? I just sounded so Gen Z. Oh my God.
No, you
I sounded so Gen Z. By the way,
everyone who's actually Gen Z is like, no.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's an old fart. What is he talking about? Literally. So speaking of Gen Z stuff, I'll tell you a quick funny story about that. So obviously in the marketing segment, we're always trying to learn new things. And obviously Gen Z has a big buyer. They're a huge part of the buyer market in America. They're the biggest actually. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, I'm growing my hair out. I'm in the barbershop and I'm like, I want to do something different. And there's like 2 dudes that are next to me that are in high school. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do like a freaking like Euro mullet. Right. So I'm sitting there and these kids like were looking at me and they're like, they had no idea that I was a dad, first off. And I felt so young about that. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking cool.
John felt so cool.
I felt so cool.
So cool.
And then after
no one knew I was a dad.
Yeah, they're
cool.
they're like, you have kids? And I was like, don't let the hair fool you.
You look too cool to have kids.
I was like, don't let the hair fool you, kids. I have 3 kids, and nobody believed me. But
did you ask them why? Were they like, because you're the coolest guy I've seen?
Well, the guy was like, I never saw a dad get a mullet. I was like, okay, wow. But nonetheless,
so funny.
you know what? We got to keep up with the trends, and that's actually a good point. I brought that up because like
we do.
You as a business, you always have to be understanding what the market is doing, and Gen Z is like the biggest buyer in the American market right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, products, whatever, they're buying everything and they're so well researched. That's the coolest and the craziest part.
Yeah.
Is honestly, I'm so stoked that I got to live in the era where it was like the 90s of like, okay, there was no tech. Like I had to go on my family desktop.
Yeah.
I had to go on my family's desktop to play backyard baseball or Pajama Sam or some crazy thing.
You couldn't look something up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're exactly. I was on AIM. I was on AIM.
Yeah.
Instant Messenger and stuff. And now like they grew up where that's all they have is tech, right? So we have both sides of it. They have only that side of it. So it's just cool to be able to like understand that like they're so well researched. You can't bullshit a Gen Z person.
No, not
right?
at all.
They know what's up.
No.
So nonetheless, do your research on your market.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all she wrote, guys. So happy Monday. I hope you guys have a great St. Patrick's Day. And we will see you back next Monday at 9 a.m.